Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all fandoms, welcome to the Ferret Raccoon podcast, episode 48. I am Ace.
I'm the Angry Raccoon. Finally, back for the last podcast of October 2016. We're doing this just before Halloween, which is a shame that it doesn't actually line up, because if we'd not done a podcast, the week this podcast goes up, then we'd have it up for the day of October, but we have other things planned, and I'm sure other people have things planned for that special day, but we'll talk about that later on in the podcast. But Ace, how have you been?
I've been alright. I've had some problems though. Quite a few. I think I've let you know this.
Oh yeah.
So, major issue, my laptop hard drive just bust. It died completely. I thought it might have been software issues, so I was resetting the RAM. I was checking through all the utilities. Nothing. It was all dead. So I actually had to go out, purchase a solid state drive instead. I had to uncover it all with screwdrivers and a Torx T6 screwdriver and put in my own solid state drive. And it now works beautifully again. It was a major shock and horror to me.
Yeah, I can quite imagine, honestly. It was, it was even, excuse me, my voice is going, but it was even a shock for me to hear as well, because I was like, oh, snap.
Yeah.
Cause that's the last thing anyone needs, because if you're in any kind of like situation where you create content, digital content, or work within any entertainment industry, media industry, your laptop could be considered your life. So
basically.
That's not fun. I'm sure I mentioned this a few podcasts ago. A similar situation happened with me regarding my Mac just pretty much almost dying on me again, which is, once again, just a massive shame. But it's good you're back on your feet. Everything's flowing once again how it should be, which is good. I should also mention, my voice is not in the best of condition because it is getting colder, as you heard me pretty much die just then. And I'm pretty sure it's probably going to happen again throughout this podcast. So sorry if I sound like rubbish, but yeah, that's how it goes. But yeah, so it definitely is feeling a lot like Halloween, October, end of the year. Things are getting darker. I mean, it's almost dark from 6 p.m. now, and it's a lot colder, thank goodness. And
it's the spooky season. It's what happens.
The spooky season, spooky month of spookiness, really. The skeletons are coming, and everyone's got to get ready for that, which is
you got to prepare a costume to scare them away.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, if you kids don't know what Halloween is about, that's it right there, pretty much.
The thing is, you can't really get away from the skeleton within you.
Exactly. Always remember that.
Exactly.
But so somewhat busy-ish week for both of us. I'm going to start off by talking about some of the stuff I managed to do this week. The first one was actually finally beating Fire Emblem Fates Birthright. Just over 60 hours gameplay-wise. Really enjoyed this game. Really, really liked it. There were a few things that definitely got me annoyed, like a few chapter / map mechanics which I did not appreciate, some being slightly more frustrating than challenging, and particularly the fact that I couldn't save before the final chapter of the game, which was rather annoying. I did not appreciate that.
That sounds quite a lot like bullshit. It's like, why? It's probably going to be the hardest parts. Let people save beforehand.
I mean, to be fair, if you know what you're doing, kind of, it's not hard.
Okay.
Like, it depends on how you would tackle that situation. Like, for example, I beat the final chapter in one turn.
Oh, wow. Alright.
Yeah. But in any given state, it can take you... Because I think the idea behind that chapter is it's somewhat meant to be impossible. But you can, like I said, beat it in one turn, which I did. It was clutch though, but it's very doable.
Okay.
Any word of advice if anyone is going to play Birthright and Conquest, which I'm guessing it might be the same situation. Don't fight every enemy. That's all I'm going to say. Head for the objective. But yeah, it was really fun. Really enjoyed it. I don't know if I'll be able to play Conquest, which is the other side of Fates, this time. We'll see.
Yeah.
If not, I'd still regard Birthright as probably one of my favorite games of 2016 so far. So there's at least that. I managed to also, kind of sticking with the 3DS, play the Pokemon Sun and Moon demo,
Yeah.
which released quite recently actually, and really enjoyed it. It was quite short, but it definitely gave you a really nice like feel for the game, which I was really happy about. It definitely feels like its own beast, which is good, and it definitely it flows well. I think it's exactly what people want, and I think definitely a lot more and then some in a sense,
Yeah.
which is something that I guess could be a worry for a lot of Pokemon fans if it's because I don't think anyone really wants it to just be another game. They want it to be another
Yeah.
experience of anything, and it definitely feels like that for the most part. Just from the, I'm trying to give a rough time for how long it might be. It's like 40 hours, depending on how long you're going to take to do it. But it was definitely fun. They definitely excited me enough, and it's just like less than a month wait now, which is good.
Because I still need to play this, and I've been so busy I haven't been able to, and now I'm happy to hear that it's good. So I should have fun with this.
I mean, I definitely enjoyed it. I think a lot of people definitely got a kick out of it, which is good. I'm glad they made it very public as well,
Yeah.
letting people know, the date it's coming out. And I think it was quite funny the fact that people managed to like hack the demo and
Yeah.
pretty much, spoil all the new Pokemon and other features within the game, which was very interesting that much information was on a demo.
Yeah,
Which
they
is
just data
interesting.
mined the whole thing.
Yeah.
I presume what they had is they just hadn't taken out a lot of the aspects from it.
Yeah, because I mean, I'd imagine certain aspects might link to other aspects being
Yeah.
able to work within the core element of the game. So it was just like whatever. And I'm pretty sure Nintendo's situation with the hack, it doesn't matter. The game comes out in at the time, which was the 18th, less than a month. So whatever, you're spoiling it for yourself. It's different if this was a demo for a game that comes out in April of 2017. Then it's like, oh,
Yeah.
my.
Also, most people who probably looked up the leaked ones are probably going to get it anyway.
Oh yeah, I think it might have. I mean, I don't think anything regarding story or character motivations is what people would really want to see if that was made available. I'm pretty sure everyone was like, "Oh, let me see the new Pokemon."
Yeah.
Which is fine. If you see all the Pokemon, it's fine. It usually happens anyway because before we had from X and Y and before, Japan would usually get the game first and they would just upload everything.
Yeah, that's
And
very
now
true.
it launches like worldwide, which is nice, but at the same time, you may be like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But
they did actually spoil the amount of Ultra Beasts, though.
Yeah, I didn't look into that. I was just like, that is just its whole other thing. I'll let the game teach me about that, I guess. Which is cool. And also, I managed to watch 2 other films. I definitely stayed.
Oh, nice.
I definitely stayed within the theme of like horror and Halloween. So the first film I watched was VHS,
Nice.
which is the anthology series, which I think came out in 2012. Finally managed to get a copy of that and watched it. I did enjoy it. It definitely has issues as it being an anthology film, because the biggest problem with an anthology film is its pacing, because it's never going to be good. Simply put, the only one that has good pacing really is Trick or Treat.
Oh yeah,
because that's just a film, basically. That it was very well done, but I really enjoyed it. Some segments are better than others. One definitely could have been cut out, and there was definitely too much female and male nudity. I didn't. There's
Really?
just a bit too much,
Wow,
honestly.
okay.
Like sometimes it makes sense. Like there's only there's only like one shot where it makes sense where it's like that, but like, there's a few where it's like,
just
I'm
gratuitous nudity.
Yeah, and it wasn't even in the sense of like exploitation or grindhouse themed. It was more in the sense of the situation was very sleazy in that kind of case.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't really distract too much. It's just happens quite a bit. I think there's only like 2 segments where there isn't someone exposing their body.
That's
out
so
of about
weird.
6 segments, not including the wraparound story. Well, sorry, the wraparound story does have that, but
bloody hell,
it was that kind of, it was a bit annoying because it was kind of unnecessary for the most part, despite the fact there was some really creative segments and ideas, and that's what I think the film gets a lot of praise for. I mean, for anyone who's not aware, the basic concept is about a group of people getting into a house and they're finding a bunch of like VHS tapes which are showing these incredibly disturbing and horrific recorded scenes. You know, some of which are pretty damn creative. Like this one where a guy has a camera in his glasses. There's one where I'm trying to think of all of them. There's one where a group of typical kids, they go out to pretty much camp and they're trying to find something which can't quite be seen in that kind of sense. And there's another one which is basically like a modern day like haunted house kind of thing, which was done very well because it's done all handheld for the most part, which is great. So you definitely get that feel that this someone found this tape and was like, this is too messed up to show the public. We got to keep this, which obviously raises questions. What's it doing in this house? You know, all this kind of stuff. But I really
like,
enjoyed it.
who owns this house? Like, how have they got all these tapes?
Yeah, that's kind of like what the wraparound story is kind of about, because it's a bunch of guys just breaking in tapes, and it's like they do something very smart where, like, I'm not going to spoil like who these characters are, not that it really matters, but they all have cameras on them, and like I guess it's implied that when a tape is watched, they pretty much put the camera down on top of the VHS and possibly plug it in, so they're recording what's on the footage in a sense, so that way because what you're seeing is their recorded footage, so you're seeing them watch it in some say. Yeah. I guess it's somewhat clever, I guess.
Is it owned by a blind man, the house?
Blind man?
Yeah, the people just broke in it was a blind man.
No, it's not. I think it's owned by... No, well, their tip-off is they just got to get a tape and, just get this one tape and they get paid. Pretty much, right. That's pretty much the setup. One thing I will like to mention, because I did a little bit of research, was that in the second one, because there's 3 films, VHS 2, interesting enough, you have the director, I can't remember his name right now, but the director of The Raid and The Raid 2 does a segment.
Oh, really?
Which I've seen and heard good things about it, which definitely makes me, because I've heard that, just as a bit of like opinionated stuff and just doing the research, I heard if you get VHS 2, it pretty much makes one complete good solid film, because like the good segments from 1 and 2 come together, make a fantastic film in that kind of sense. But yeah, also the I can't remember his name, but the guy who did You're Next and
Adam
the guest,
Wingard.
yes, Adam Wingard, he does a segment in VHS 1, which is essentially the wraparound story.
Okay.
And in VHS 2, which he was the exclusive producer on, he does a segment which is complete trash. And I looked at the concept and I was like, this is rubbish, it's so dumb.
Okay.
And interesting enough, another director who does a segment on VHS 2 is the director, or one of the directors, or he was the co-director of the Blair Witch Project.
Oh, really?
So I find it very interesting that both Adam and that director worked on a project based on horror, and to which Adam then went on to pretty much ruin the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, how pissed off would you be? I mean, I don't know if they ever met or whatever. Yeah. I mean, Adam was the exclusive producer, so I'd imagine some discussion would have happened, but I would have been pissed off if I'd worked with a guy who went on to ruin something that I'm well known for.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, the guy's work has gone... We've talked about him already. The guy's work has just gone to complete rubbish. But I found that very interesting. Yeah, I would be pissed off, to say the least, about that.
So would I, to be honest. It's a bit ridiculous.
It's weird, isn't it? But then again, he just wants a paycheck.
Yeah, he had a promising start, but no, he...
you had The Guest, You're Next. I mean... VHS to some extent.
I think he did a spot on ABCs of Death, if I'm correct.
Yeah, he did a spot on ABCs of Death as well. I think it was Quack.
Quack. Oh, okay.
I think it was Quack. Yeah, Q for Quack.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just wanted to mention that the final film I watched, which is one I've been looking forward to, and it kind of links into the film I talked about on our discussion last week, and that is Dog Soldiers.
Ah, nice.
Which is also from the guy who did The Descent, which I talked about last week, in case you know. So I finally managed to watch that. I really loved this film. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I have. This was one that I watched when I was too young, and it was on TV, so me and my brother just crowded at the TV watching it. Yeah. The film is really great. I mean, it's a 2001 film, isn't it? Or something like that. I believe so, yeah.
It's really fun. For anyone who's not aware of the film, it's essentially about a group of English soldiers pretty much going on a I think it was like a practice mission or something like
Yeah.
that. But things kind of take a turn for the worst, where they're attacked by quote unquote dog soldiers, and just all hell ensues as they pretty much post up against this in this one house, pretty much defending themselves from dog soldiers, or pretty much as they described as werewolves.
Yeah.
And it gets pretty crazy to say the least. And I really did enjoy like the pacing and the characters and the way the story went, because it's a take on werewolf, which I find kind of interesting without spoiling too much, particularly the fact that they look more like dogs than wolves.
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting.
It's a smart change.
Yeah, it works, especially regarding what they do in the film, which was quite not funny, but it is definitely very interesting. But it is a horror thriller, but it also doesn't take itself too seriously all the time, which is great. Because I mean, there are a few scenes where you're just like cheering and going, "Oh my god, it's so badass," you know, and stuff like that. And there is definitely the fair share of pretty, shocking and like generally disturbing scenes in the film as well, which is interesting. But I really, really loved it. I'm glad that like it's like one of the only films that hasn't really been sullied by like anyone. But we got to make a TV series, or we got to make a sequel where we use special effects, because it's all practical, guys.
Yeah.
Like. It's literally like beasts running around in the woods, and you're like, oh god.
I'm actually very surprised that this hasn't been one of those cult films that hasn't been remade into schlock.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of hope it never does. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're probably going to, but I have a feeling that because America is in charge of most remakes, they're probably not going to touch it because it's too English.
Yeah, exactly. They'd make it way too dramatic and, melodramatic.
They would only ever make... I mean, it would basically be Jughead with werewolves. I mean, I love Jughead, but, like, if you haven't seen Jughead, watch Jughead, but, like, they'd probably make it Jughead with, like, swords, and they'd probably be out in, like, Iraq, and, the terrorists are turning into werewolves, ooh! But they'd ask you to take it seriously.
Yeah. ISIS wolves are coming for me!
Oh jeez, I could kind of see that, I guess, but they'd only ever like make a sequel. It'd be an American sequel, or they would only ever remake it to go, well, American people can't understand English people, and it's like that'd be daft.
Because they're idiots, apparently.
Oh, they are. I mean, the next film on my list, which I didn't manage to get in time for Halloween, was Black Sheep.
Oh,
which I still.
I think I have that. If I do, I can lend it to you.
Oh, cool! That'd be great. I've been trying to get a copy of that. It disappears as much as Dog Soldiers off shelves. I mean, I don't spend millions or hundreds on DVDs, in case you're wondering. But yeah, I really, really like this film. It was really good. I think it just works so perfectly. Honestly,
it does.
More people need to see it.
Yeah.
More English people need to see it, not necessarily heads in Hollywood.
Yeah. Keep it cult.
Keep it cult. But then again, Donnie Darko was pretty cult, but then they still made S. Darko.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
don't.
Oh.
Just don't. That doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't.
That's one of those things that people think happened, but didn't.
Yeah, much like Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
2016.
Oh, it's actually got a tagline now. Like, that is its actual proper title. Like, I can't remember what it's called.
Answer the Call.
Yeah, Ghostbusters Answer the Call. That's the actual proper name now. So we don't just have to call it Ghostbusters 2016. It's Answer the Call. That's the film.
But which is dumb because they use the same theme song which says who you're going to call.
Yeah. It's just called Answer the Call. It's not Ghostbusters, it's Answer the Call. It's done.
That's stupid. Simply put. But that was my week in terms of entertainment, films, games, and all that kind of good stuff, which we like to cover on this podcast. Ace?
Yeah, I've got one film that I managed to watch. Yeah, again, this was due to all the problems I was having. I just managed to settle down and watch one thing. And this was the amazing masterpiece called Mulholland Drive.
Holland Drive.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is fantastic. It's David Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely loved it. It is nonsensical and it makes perfect sense. It's a motion, this film. I'm trying to say it without sounding pretentious or arty. It starts off with a main character who wants to be an actress. So she's moving to LA. She ends up finding a weird woman living in her apartment that she's staying at, and they end up becoming close friends. And it all lingers around this kind of relationship between them as like friends and all that. And it brings in new characters such as this director who just looks like J.J. Abrams, so I laugh all the time. It really does. It's hilarious.
It's J.R. Abrams.
Probably. J.R. Abrams. But this subverts so many film tropes. I am still confused and amazed at it. It's brilliant. Like, every time you think it's going to do something, it might hint it earlier that, oh, this is going to happen. And it doesn't happen. You're like, what the hell? And then it would straight up tell you something's going to happen, and you won't even realise it's happening until it happens.
It's kind of the same with Dog Soldier as well. There's a few moments where you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on a Lynchian level, this is amazing. I love this film. It's great.
I've not actually heard of this film.
Oh, Mulholland Drive?
Yeah,
really?
no, I've not heard of it. I mean, I might have seen it, but just the name is not ringing bells because I haven't seen it, obviously.
Okay. Yeah, main actress is Naomi Watts, and she is great in this film. Hands down, if you love film, watch Mulholland Drive. Do it.
Yeah, still remember. I don't know. It sounds interesting though. I mean, always good with some more Lynch, and he's gonna be back with that Twin Peaks season 3.
This actually feels like this film feels like it could be set in the Twin Peaks universe. That's the kind of weirdness.
A lot of his films could be.
Yeah.
Potentially.
And even the music sounds like it could be from there, in some aspects. So
interesting.
That's my recommendation.
Recommendation for the next 2 weeks. You better watch it.
Watch it and then just try and analyse the film for yourselves. Because, oh boy.
You cannot do it.
No.
You'd have to ask Lynch himself.
He will never tell you.
No, of course not. The guy's a filmmaker, that's why.
Exactly.
He's much like Stanley Kubrick. He burnt all the sets for 21 The Space Odyssey.
It's like, no one's getting this.
No, you're not remaking my bloody film.
This film's too good.
The man was too smart.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving away from films just for a little bit, we are still currently following Pokemon Generations, the mini animated series being uploaded to YouTube, as well as South Park Season 20.
Yeah.
Starting with Pokemon Generations, we had 2 episodes drop, both pretty interestingly linked together.
Yeah.
Ace, you want to hit us off with episode 7, wasn't it? Yeah.
So episode 7 was called The Vision. And it was a Team Magma-based episode around them from the underground base, and they're going to end up going down to, kind of drill through and get to, Groudon, basically.
Yes, which is the legendary.
Yeah. And as you can see throughout the episode, Brandon is breaking... I think Brandon's his name in the canon.
It's Brendan.
Yeah, Brendan, that's the one. Yeah. He's smashing his way through with a Sceptile or Skeptile and just dominating. He doesn't even talk. He's just like, nah, I'm kicking everyone's ass here.
I love that. I thought that was really cool to actually see the trainers like, yo, I'm coming dominant, because I thought it was really cool. I mean, especially soon as in my Omega Ruby playthrough, I had Sceptile as well, which is kind of cool to see. I think
since I've already completed the original Ruby with Torchic and Sapphire with Mudkip, I chose Sceptile for Omega Ruby, so kind of had to as well.
That's cool.
But I will say one thing about this episode, and this is the only problem I have with this. I feel like it's not really telling us anything that we didn't already know in the games.
Well,
that's my only gripe.
And my question would be, does it need to?
Well, considering every other episode has had at least some sort of insight to something we didn't know, even the next episode at least shows us something it's trivial, but it's at least something different. I
kind of thought this episode did kind of, well, for me anyway, and that was kind of talk a little bit more, but kind of give me a better example of what kind of character Courtney is, who is the one of the magma heads. Mainly because I never knew what she is. I always thought she was a robot.
Oh,
but I
really?
guess she's not a robot.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the way she speaks and the way she is very interesting, and you definitely get to, especially with how she's voiced and how she talks, she's not talking like any normal human.
Yeah.
And I thought at least being able to kind of have a more visual and audio representation of her gave me a better impression of what kind of person she was, because you have to remember this is the last time we see her.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because we don't know what happens to her after that.
Oh, she drowns.
I'd hope not.
The place just fills up with water, and she's trying to clutch up to the top, and she just gasps a lot.
Get your dark fanfics out of here. Get them out of here, man.
But yeah, that was episode 7. Do you want to take
7.
episode 8?
Episode 8 was pretty much like on the flip side as we follow Team Aqua, which is the rival group, as they pretty much go after Kyogre to pretty much restore the world and that, which is interesting because on the Team Aqua leader, he already has like the
Sapphire Stone? Blue Stone?
Yeah, like the Sapphire Stone
orb thing.
Pretty much. And I mean, it's kind of cool because, like, once again, you get a better impression of like their leader Archie, who's pretty much just a madman at this point, and then he's chucking a stone in there, which I thought he had to hold on to it, but I guess not.
No, he just throws it. It's like, alright, attack.
He treats it like a Pokeball.
Exactly.
He thinks he's already caught Kyogre, that's why.
It's like, yes, now I control it.
George, we pretty much see like Kyogre destroy the world. You really get to see, thanks to the animation, you get to see like the sheer scale of Kyogre, the sheer destruction.
And it flies.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if it is flying. Maybe it's just doing a big dive.
Yeah,
I'm not
maybe. It seems too like it was on the surface for a while, like floating above it.
I mean, it did change like direction, like in mid movement, so I guess it can fly, but I don't know.
Maybe it can just hover over water.
Maybe, yeah, as long as it's over water, it can, I guess. But that was interesting. But I really liked that episode. Definitely, they definitely took the time to give. Oh my god, the world's coming to an end. I'm guessing the next episode is going to show the aftermath or some kind of resolution. Rayquaza is going to come down from the heavens and solve everything.
For that episode, episode 8, the cavern, I'm giving that one a 7.8 out of 10 because it had too much water.
Too much.
Yeah, but I also say one thing I liked, Shelley. She actually starts going against Team Aqua.
Yeah.
And that's the trivial bit that I said that was different, that I thought made it different to the previous episode, and that it was something new that I didn't know of.
Yeah.
So I really like that.
Because she was like, some bad stuff is going to happen if you do this, Archie.
I did my research. Shit's going to fuck up. We can't do this.
I've seen the light.
Yeah. So I really liked that aspect.
I like that. I liked, I like how they're handling the story, but I understand your issue with episode 7, which is the same. So looking forward to, still got like 14 more episodes to go, I believe. Yeah, something like that.
Is it 16 episodes? Because then we just got 8 left.
Because wasn't it 22 episodes?
I thought it was 16.
I thought it was 22.
It's 16 or 22.
The more the merrier, I guess. I can't really complain if there's more.
I would be happy with 22. I would be fine.
Pretty much. Moving on to South Park, we have 2 episodes to cover.
Episode 4 and 5.
Yes, pretty much, because like we said, they had technical difficulties regarding the 4th episode, so they moved it to next week, and then we had episode 5 as well. So we definitely got a lot of information coming out from episode 4 and 5, so I kind of just smushed them together. So we have the Swish. Pretty much just, they've had enough of the trolls, and they're pretty much opening up a building / website that will pretty much hunt down all internet trolls and just, so you can find them and they can get...
Yeah, you can find out everything they've done online.
And who they are, which is a incredibly stupid idea.
Yeah, it's just a horrible thing in general, and it's hilarious because people are like, yeah, I'm getting behind this because I don't like trolls, and it's like, that's like real life. If that was actually happening, a bunch of idiots would be saying, yes, we need to do this.
Do you know how many people would be dead?
Tons.
Too many to count. I mean, you're going to scream about social and race issues.
Yeah.
No, that would be some serious stuff.
Yeah.
It was interesting. So they're opening up the this website, and I do find it funny how the press is like, oh yeah, so what happens if someone wants to just find anyone? And they're like,
exactly.
Oh, that just won't happen.
It's like, and then he goes, he does his own disclaimer. It's like, don't use this for anything else, just trolls. It's like, really? So you can't be held accountable for anyone's actions now.
Yeah, because you put that disclaimer, and at the same time you have Gerald pretty much teaming up with, I think, all the trolls of Colorado,
including the World of Warcraft guy.
The World of Warcraft guy, which is great.
I was so happy.
He's a strong hacker.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So they pretty much band together in their story to pretty much take down Switzerland. Kind of creating a fake story.
Yeah.
Essentially saying that was it Switzerland was helping ISIS and Lego is part of ISIS, essentially, and to which everyone was like, literally just saying like "fuck Switzerland" basically, which was quite funny because I think Gerald pretty much uses the great idea of how like reactions kind of work regarding like the internet, where you have people hating on one thing and then you have people coming in to defend it for no reason, and then you get
have people hating on the people
defending it, and it pretty much just collapses, which happens all the time.
It really does.
All the time.
Yeah.
And it was a great analogy. Speaking of other great analogies, we follow Mr. Garrison as well.
Yeah.
Pretty much still running for that presidential campaign, as he's pretty much at the point where he's really, whatever he's doing, he just really can't, fail this election.
Yeah.
Even to the point when he said, or when he does say, when he's told, oh, don't say anything about like women that can drop your votes. He comes in, does this whole stand-up bit.
Yeah.
He's talking about like immigrants. He's talking about black folks, all this other stuff. And then as soon as he gets to this, when he's saying some pretty sexual stuff regarding women, some of the women are not liking it too much.
Yeah, and they all leave.
Even to the point where he's like, "Oh, where are you going, honey? Did I offend you? Oh, it was fine when I said I was gonna fuck all the immigrants to death, but now that I said something about you, you don't like it."
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, I mean, we're not supporting Trump here, but like, come on, people.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, the joke's gone too far now.
Yeah.
It was fine when Trump said, "Oh, I'm gonna put up a wall and we need to get rid of all these people and I wanna kill this many people." That's fine. But
did he ever say?
No, I'm exaggerating.
Yeah, hyperbole, guys.
I'm exaggerating, but as soon as he said something about your private parts, that's too far.
Yeah.
I don't like this guy. He offended me.
Yeah. If his locker room talk offends you and yet you're happy with the rest of it, then you were there for the wrong reason in the first place. If you're still there, then it means you must like his ideals or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. And so that pretty much, Mr. Garrison kind of gets what he wants with a pretty much backlash with, I guess some of his fans are like, "What the hell are you doing?" Yeah,
exactly.
Pretty much. So he's...
Your ranking in the polls is going down!
He's like somewhat like, he's somewhat on the run pretty much. Yeah. Because he's pretty much just had enough of it, to which it leads to like the biggest kind of revelation in the episode where, Randy, he's pretty much opened up a support group for people who are addicted to member berries.
Yes.
And, meeting up with Mr. Garrison, he's talking about, like, the member berries. He's talking about, like, the history behind them, how they've been there since, like, Rome's...
the fall of Rome.
Since the fall of Rome.
Yeah.
That was the reason why, and how, and I do like the great point where he kind of starts off by going, "We have to admit it. The newest Star Wars film wasn't that good."
Yeah, exactly.
And I think, thank you. I think we have Red Letter Media saying that, and like South Park, it's like, I mean...
And I said it as well on the podcast.
I know, you said it back on the original, like, I think it was like episode 27 or whatever it was.
That was like the day or two after the film came out.
Pretty much. I mean, I think we'd have to face it, and it kind of does link into the ideas of me, even Randy's talking about the ideas, if we had something original it would have been better, or, just do something, and, it's very funny, which leads to the biggest, reveal, where it seems that Mr. J.J. Abrams might be behind this whole member berries going back to a better time kind of situation, which I thought was interesting, even showing him with
Make Star Wars great again.
Make Star Wars great again hat.
Which, funny enough, you can actually buy that now.
Yeah,
I've seen that on Google and stuff.
What about the Token Lives Matter one?
I haven't seen that yet. I want that.
I need that.
Or, one on the back where it says Tokens Life Still Matters.
Yeah, I think we need that. And then, obviously, we have, like, literally a massive divide within the school between the boys and the girls. That they're just not getting along at all. And Cartman and his girlfriend, Heidi, all lovey-dovey, pretty much like, "Oh, we know how to solve the situation and all that," but it doesn't work out, obviously, being the situation that they're trying to help Switzerland build their whole troll network.com, but that obviously busts because everyone thinks that they're just a bunch of terrorists and
they're linked with ISIS. Pretty
much, and they pretty much ends on an interesting cliffhanger, I guess. But it is rather sad that even... I understand that's the point, but even in South Park, there's such a massive divide between like the genders, simply because of stupidity, for the most part, which is just a shame, honestly. But I know there's too many thick-skulled people who won't get the message, and they're probably going, "South Park's not as funny as it was because I don't get it." Yeah. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm interested to see
Same.
what's going to happen with the rest of the series. I mean,
I actually
I don't
think I
know.
have one bit thought out, which I'm not going to say because it's a reference to Mr. Robot.
Okay.
There are tons of references to Mr. Robot in the Skank Hunt subplot. A ton of references. Even to the point where, you know the guy with the anonymous mask?
Yeah.
When he's at his computer, a poster behind him says Mr. Android. Yeah. And I've seen some other hints, and I'm like, if they're doing what I think they're doing, this is genius.
Maybe that guy is Mr. Robot.
No, it's something
Or
else.
like he's going to be part of
Yeah.
his gang or something like that. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh, because the anonymous guy is part of them.
No, I mean like that guy is part
Oh,
of
yeah.
Mr. Robot's
Yeah.
gang.
Yeah.
In a sense, I haven't
Yeah.
watched it, but I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get you, but yeah, I think I see what's going, and it has something to do with Skank Hunt 42. And that's all I'm saying, because I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay, and if it does lead to that, don't reveal that.
Yeah.
Don't be like those idiots who like ruined major plots in like Game of Thrones because South Park did but didn't say it was a spoiler.
Yeah.
So then a bunch of Game of Thrones fans went, "Oh, South Park, how could you ruin this massive plot where blah 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 happens?"
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah,
wow,
exactly.
you just literally like just showed how stupid you were by doing
I
that.
actually think I know what that reference is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like idiots.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even think that was an intentional trap. You just suck.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Oh boy, well that's wrapping up our kind of like keeping up with like the fortnightly stuff. Let's move on to our topics, and most of our topics are pretty much trailers, but we do have some other stories. Like our first and unfortunate one is the fact that Michiyo Yasuda, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly, who was a animator and colorist for a lot of the Studio Ghibli films, has unfortunately passed away over the last 2 weeks. She was obviously most known for like working on a lot of these films, such as like My Neighbor Totoro, Spirited Away, Ponyo. She worked on at least about 13 of the films.
Yeah.
And the article I've linked is especially interesting because it does delve into a lot of her history and kind of a lot of like the interesting history with like Japanese animation, because it is a very interesting story how it came to be and how it's like really developed to become. I mean, if you wanted to, you could start it from like the earliest like forms from like 20 to 30, and then talk about like it being at that mainstream point with like Spirited Away and Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that. It's a very interesting thing to kind of read up about if you want to in that kind of sense, especially if you are a fan of like anime and manga. So I would definitely recommend doing that. But I also I am definitely very appreciative of the fact that people have mentioned her passing away and actually kind of mentioning those one of the people who was always behind the scenes, who makes something great. And it's always best to pay respects to those kinds of people, which I'm glad media outlets have definitely done. But it's definitely a shame to have like someone as talented and as masterful as her pass away. I mean, she had retired, and the last film she did work on was The Wind Rises. But
which was fantastic, by the way.
Fantastic film, yeah. I mean, and you just see a lot of like very interesting things regarding like her work and the animation line of work. Like for example, she's worked with like Miyazaki since 1968, which is crazy. So they've pretty much been friends for about like 60 years or so, which is just incredible. But that's how it happens. I mean, most studios and tight-lit groups are pretty much just built and based on like friendships for the most part.
That article actually led me to a book about her work.
Yeah.
Which the Color Artisan of Animation, which came out in 2007. Which it was only released in Japan, but I really want to try and track this down because that sounds amazing.
I mean, they are slowly releasing some of the studio art books, so that might be one that finally makes it. We are getting them fairly slowly because more people would rather have like their manga books and their DVDs rather than books detailing other artists' like work and such. It's a very slow process, but I have a feeling it will eventually make it here. There is definitely a market, but it's just not as big as some other markets. So let's hope it does. I mean, if Studio Ghibli's collection of films has officially come to an end, then I don't see why not. But here's hoping. But yep, wanted to pay respects to her for her fantastic contribution and work, which awesome.
It really is.
Moving on to our massive build of trailers.
Yeah.
We have our first one now. You probably noticed that some of these range from slightly older to slightly newer because just a ton of stuff dropped.
Yeah.
Because I honestly think everyone is dropping all the trailers because they are just terrified of Star Wars.
As soon as it gets to December, you're hearing nothing.
And they want to just stay as relevant as possible and keep in people's minds until next year, because nothing's going to happen in December thanks to Star Wars, not unless it bombs.
Yeah.
Which I think it will technically bomb. But first trailer?
Yeah, so we got the trailer for Black Mirror Season 3, which is going to be a 6-episode series. It is actually out now, by the way.
Yes.
So, I personally, from the trailer, I thought some aspects looked okay, but the weird point for me was the very big lack of English accents. That kind of got to me. I was like, what's going on here?
A lot of people have been talking about that, saying that it seems different, it's not right, and that's because it has shifted over to an American studio. Netflix now owns it. They bought it from its original channel, which is Channel 4, which we have in England. Charlie Brooker is still working on it.
Yeah, he is.
But at the same time, a lot of people are definitely, it doesn't feel right. And I don't think it's the fact that it's American actors, because they could all do a great job. I think it's literally the case of, well, I mean, first of all, I'm really happy that the series is going to get more attention.
Yes,
and that
very much.
My only issue is that the way this trailer was presented, it was very tame and safe.
Yeah.
Like, it honestly, I mean, there was no real feeling of, like, darkness or creepy tones. It was just more generic. It honestly felt like almost like a bad aping of, like, Black Mirror, and it looked like a bad attempt at sci-fi.
Okay.
That's what it looked like. It just didn't do anything. Honestly, it looked like it was going for. It looked like they were treating this series as the beginning and going, let's play it safe. Let's do a film about how dangerous mobiles can be.
Yeah.
Let's do one about the internet is dangerous because you don't know who's on it.
Yeah.
It looks like that compared to all the other concepts.
So I actually went, and I haven't seen the whole series, but I've seen the first 3 episodes of Season 3.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. The first episode I actually enjoyed. It was very much a parody and exaggeration of social media and how people are addicted to it. And I quite enjoyed it. It was nice. It was very American, and the sheer, fake American politeness pops up a lot, which I enjoyed it. It was fine. I mean, for case in point, I loved Season 1. Season 2, I was a bit iffy about, except for the Christmas one, which I loved.
Oh, yeah.
But I would definitely say I enjoyed the first episode of Season 3. The second episode, which was funny enough by Dan Trachtenberg, 10 Cloverfield Lane. Considering how that film ended badly, this one actually started badly. But it ended a lot better, I would say. I think they chose the wrong actor. The main guy pissed me off.
Yeah, because he was American, that's why. Get these Americans off my Black Mirror.
It wasn't an intention, it wasn't like they're trying to make you dislike him, or at least sometimes they actually make you sympathise, but I found him very unlikable in a bad way. But the idea was good. That one, a bit iffy. Third episode, this was dark as hell. This one was actually pretty disturbing in some aspects, and it takes the whole idea of be careful of, obviously, stuff you do online, as people can manipulate you with that stuff. And it ends in a very dark place. I was surprised at that point. I solidly enjoyed that episode. I think that one was great.
Pretty sure that's probably going to be the most hated American episode.
Probably. And funny enough, I think, if I remember correctly, that one was set in England. If I'm correct. I can't remember exactly.
That's probably why it's the only good episode. Get these Americans off my Black Mirror.
But, that episode, and I was very happy to see one of the cast members from Game of Thrones that was in that episode, which was good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because the marketing has been very, it's glitchy and, scary, which I've just not felt, but they haven't really gone into any details about the cast, which is fine. Yeah. Black Mirror has never glorified itself with, we got this guy!
Yeah.
I mean, even with, like, the Black Christmas one, they had, like, 2 prolific actors in it, but they never... Yeah. They weren't like, oh, he's in it, he's going to be in Black Mirror, They never were like, oh, you got to see Black Mirror, he's going to be playing a character, but you never guess what happens to him,
It was a side character from Game of Thrones, Bronn, which I actually really love. He was one of my favourite side characters, so I was happy to see him again.
Okay.
So yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I full-heartedly trust Charlie Brooker and his, whatever he's doing. I'm pretty sure this series will at least be good. I honestly think that it's just the American meddling is probably the only thing that's going to ruin this series. And by American meddling, I mean higher-up producers going, that's not appropriate. Don't do that. That's going to turn people off. Make it more like this. Get this actor. They will bring in more views. Advertise it like this. Do it like that. Which, from what you've seen, you're halfway through the series. There's definitely maybe some instances of that, but at the same time, it seems like it's probably just going to be the weakest of the 3 seasons.
Well, personally,
so far,
I'd actually say I enjoyed the first and third episode more than I enjoyed some of season 2. Which I think White Bear from season 2 is probably my least favourite episode of all time.
Was that episode 2?
Yes. The one where she's run through the the trees and everyone's filming and stuff.
That episode was cracking me up.
That episode was awful.
That's why it was cracking me up. That kind of put me off the series because I was like, because the first episode, season 2, was like, oh, that's fucking dark.
And that Donald Gleeson, who's rose in prominence, he was in Ex Machina.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, jeez. I mean, obviously, every trailer we're going to talk about and every news story is going to be description, so you can go watch a trailer, make up your mind. As a bonus thing, I am going to put in the description the teaser trailer / time slot trailer for season 2 of Black Mirror, so you can kind of compare the two from how it's advertised. You can kind of see, I guess, where our opinions are coming from, because I love that trailer. That was the one where I was like, oh lord.
Yeah.
Because that's the one where it actually has all the really creepy scenes in it, because they had to cut a few of them in order to show it before the watershed, which there are quite a few disturbing scenes in that one. But
I did actually remember something. I wanted to mention this and I forgot. In the second episode, it's about gaming, in some aspects, and there is some dumb-ass dialogue. Sometimes it feels like they were trying to throw in a word related to gaming at some point. And
I killed that noob.
Not like that. More that they think they're being subtle, but they're not. So, one bit which was the most egregious is we call this thing the mushroom at one point, and he's like, oh, like Mario. And it's like, oh my god, you dense motherfucker. So, yeah, that kind of stuff. And the girl who has some games in her room, she had the PS4 Thief game, and I was like, no, she dead.
Worst episode.
Yeah. So, yeah, that I forgot about that until then, so I had to let people know.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, it's good. I need to finish, Black Mirror in general. I didn't watch every episode.
Okay.
But, I love the Christmas one. That was great.
Season 1 was perfect.
Season 1 was perfect. Season 2 was good, and that Christmas special was fantastic.
Yeah.
Simply put. I'll be interested to see if there's another one, if they do more specials. I'd like to see them do one on Valentine's Day. That would be incredibly cool. Messed up.
Yeah, considering all the Tinder and match dating kind of things. Yeah. They could do something dark related to that.
Yeah, simply put, I mean, just as one example, I know some lady played a prank on some guys on Tinder where she basically met them in a wedding dress.
Wow.
And really freaked them out, because they were and they were asked, why are you in the wedding dress? And she said, oh, just planning, just prepare this, how I usually am. And a lot of them were definitely very spooked. Yeah. Which is quite great. But just as an example. Moving on to our next trailer, another Netflix exclusive, actually, DreamWorks' newest Netflix series, which Guillermo del Toro is actually working on. I think we covered this a while ago when it was announced, but it's finally here, and it is Trollhunters, which it looks fun from what I've seen so far. I thought it would be a little darker.
Yes.
And aimed at slightly older kids. I'm speaking more in the sense of from 8 and up, because they would be able to handle that kind of thing, but it's fine because I guess Voltron Legendary Defenders kind of fills that market anyway, so I guess they were like, oh, we can appeal to that target audience, I guess, so, which is fine. I mean, I'm honestly not too pleased with the animation quality. I was kind of shocked. I mean, I'm not expecting it to look like the films, but I was expecting it to at least look like the Dragons TV series, which looks fine. But this one, it had a slight cheap jankiness to it, which I did not appreciate. Which is the same for another trailer which we're not covering, which is The Boss Baby, which looks really bad compared to Trolls. Just as a quick note, if you actually do watch that Boss Baby's trailer, film could be fine. It's just it looks like a massive downgrade compared to every single film they've made so far.
Looks like a piece of garbage. Don't waste your time.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. If anything comes about that, we'll definitely cover it. But yeah, so far, I mean, the show, I think, excusing some of the kid jokes, which I'm sure the kids would probably dig.
Yeah.
It looks like it could be good. I'm going to definitely give it a shot.
I think that the kidifying and the animation style actually turned me off of it. Yeah, when I saw the kind of kid joke stuff and, I mean, the sword and stone kind of bit and then into the other stone, I was just kind of like, no. It really turned me off. I wasn't fond.
Well, you have to remember with a lot of shows like that, those jokes are for the kids.
I know.
That's it's going to be funny, but I mean, there could be a deep, rich narrative in this show.
If I hear there's a deep, rich narrative, I will check it out and then I'll call the person a liar.
It's like with Voltron. Everyone's always going to be a remake of Voltron. Then you watch and you're like, oh, this is not a remake of Voltron. This is pretty damn good.
Okay.
But yeah, because that series goes places. By episode 2, you're like, ooh, need to hold back these feelings real quick. But yeah, I mean, and also Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah, that was one of the few things that made me want to. But
I was like, could always do with more of Frasier.
Yeah.
Which I'm actually glad he's in this, which is good. Because he was in Storks as well, which is kind of funny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that Sony animated film, I think it was. I can't remember who published that, but I haven't heard anything about it since it came out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll give it a shot, like I said. I'm Guillermo del Toro. I think he knows what he's doing. He's probably just having fun with it. He's probably like, can I make a kids show?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Okay.
We will see. Moving on to our next trailer, that is going to be. Oh, Ace, you have.
Do I have this one?
I believe you do. If not, I can take it.
Yeah, you can take it.
John Wick.
Yeah.
2, or as they want to phrase it, Chapter 2 for some reason.
Yeah, which the first one wasn't John Wick Chapter 1, so.
Yeah, I hate that. Nice try. It's John Wick 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, this film looks like it is going to up everything in the first film, from its setting to its set pieces, and just making it, hopefully, a lot more fun, pretty much.
Yeah, having fun kind of action, and it already created a kind of world in itself in the first one.
Yeah.
So
without spoiling too much, having this whole like system of people linked towards each other and what these people do and how they, socialize and get together was pretty cool to see. And I think this film
can be expanded on
in the right way, not in the sense of, oh, did you know that blah 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 and exhibition. I think it's definitely going to be doing a lot more fun with it, because you see, I think a lot of it's kind of played for slightly more comedic values. Like there's a great shot where he's about to do a shoot up and everyone sees it's him and they're like, right, leave, get out of here. It's John Wick. We're leaving. We can't go up against this guy. Stuff like that is great. If you're going to do a notorious bad guy or guy like that, if doing that is pretty great.
Yeah.
You got to have someone be feared, especially if it's in a very comical sense.
Yeah.
Even with like Guardians of the Galaxy with Rowan the Accuser.
Oh yeah.
He had a few funny lines where it was like, oh, don't take this guy too seriously.
Yeah.
But I really liked it. I can't wait for it. I'm glad it's coming out very early this year. I'm glad it's not going to be in January. I'm glad it's not going to stick it in January, because that's where all the leftovers go. I mean, I just hope that the one thing I really hope they do is they just improve on the story just a little bit.
Yeah, same.
Which won't be a stretch, honestly, because the main story in John Wick 1 was great anyway. So
yeah, the only way they can make it worse if it's, I got a cat. Someone killed my cat.
No, you see in the trailer he has the dog still.
No, I know.
And the dog, I'm guessing, is probably going to be his like right-hand guy in some sense. I would love to see if he's like trained that dog to attack people or something like that.
I want attack dog in this. You can do it, dog. You can be the best.
We'll see. I'm looking forward to it. I'm happy for the guys who did it. They did a nice kind of small film. They must have been stoked when they got Keanu Reeves, and now they can do another film and get more attention and all that, and hopefully do other original films and all that. And it's great. It's a nice little thing. I think it's a great film. Anyone who says it isn't is just being a hateful hipster who doesn't like to see original and fresh ideas that actually turned out to be pretty good.
They don't like fun.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people, a few people on YouTube being like, "Why John Wick isn't a good film?" And I was like, "Piss off, dude!
It's fine. It's enjoyable. I like it."
You're just getting upset because a lot of people liked a good film. Go away.
They probably liked Batman v Superman, so you know where they can stick their opinions.
DC's like certain reviewers with certain derp-faced expressions on thumbnails. I'm sure they didn't like John Wick. But moving on to our next trailer, Power Rangers.
Time to go Power Rangers, guys.
Go Power Rangers.
I love the original theme so much.
Which will not be in this film, probably.
So they released a teaser for this, and it's got the very desaturated colouring going on in some aspects. It's got the kind of toned down music, melodrama going on at a high school setting.
Get some Sia Breathe Me in there.
Oh no! Don't overuse that song. I mean, it's already overused, but still.
Or what is it? The other song by M38. It's the one where it's like do 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 do. It's like that really sad one he has, and it's got like that dun dun.
Oh no!
Dun, like,
don't use that, guys. Don't.
Yeah, that song is like I'm falling down the street.
Copyright, man.
I can't get up because I'm late. Dun dun. You know, enough of that song, please. I mean, yeah, go on.
But yeah, it looks like it's going very melodramatic at points, which I'm not happy with. If it's literally contained within the first, 20, 30 minutes, I mean, you can do mature without it being melodrama.
Yeah.
You can have fun maturity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think this should mean. You can still have the dark twist to it. I mean, Saints Row 2, for example.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun, it's got its mature setting, even though it's jokey, and it's got some dark moments.
Yeah.
That should be a basis.
If anyone's not a gamer, I guess you could possibly watch a playthrough or something like that, or a review of that game if you want to try and get everything. We don't assume everyone is into everything here, so.
But it could have gone with that tone, because at this, it kind of feels a bit disjointed. It's going for the teenage melodrama in a kind of weird, like, over-the-top way, and then it's got all this, oh no, it's so serious. Gotta believe this is happening. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, I really hated this trailer.
Yeah.
I really did not like it. I mean, the fact that they pretty much spoilt the beginning of the film and basically, like you said, showed that it's going to be like a cliched, like, teens becoming friends over nothing and the bond's very weak, and which suggested it's probably going to be the worst part of the film anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I really didn't like it. The one thing that really annoyed me was the constant use of Dutch angles that was seen in the trailer. Now, usually you may use a Dutch angle, which is essentially a shot which is at a vertical slant for whatever reason, if you want to create some kind of...
When you're drunk behind the camera.
Or you're getting up, or whatever. And or you broke your tripod.
Yeah, you ought to give it that kind of weird, surreal feeling.
Yeah, you want to create something. But
like the 4 film. The whole film.
But with this trailer, I saw so many of these Dutch angles. It's made me really worried because it's so unnecessary to have, because this is the trailer, and I've seen guaranteed more. You can go and count. It's fine. Go check the description, download link. You can go and count. I saw at least more than 10 Dutch angle shots. Yeah. Which is really annoying because it makes me think this is a student film. Yeah.
Or it could be the same guy who did 4.
Or it could be the same guy who did Battlefield Earth.
Yeah. Oh, that's on, I think, Amazon. I need to watch that.
Oh, God.
It's going to be so bad.
John Travolta's best film. If you haven't seen Battlefield Earth, definitely go watch Nostalgia Critic's review of Battlefield Earth, because it is hilarious. And also, so I did a little bit of research, because I was looking at this, because I was like, this film looks, very low budget, which is fine. I can understand they might not want to blow, millions of dollars on like a Power Rangers film if it's not going to be successful, whatever, and, Dutch angles and that, like, must have got a student director or whatever. Yeah. I checked what the budget of this film is. It's $150 million.
Okay.
This does not look like a $150 million film as of right now.
I mean, obviously the Power Ranger suits CGI and all that transformation stuff, and I presume there's going to be a giant robot.
But
in
even then, that's CGI.
Yeah.
I know for a fact CGI does
Yeah.
not cost as much
No, I
as
agree.
manufacturing dozens of copies of suits.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I am very worried about this film now because
Very confused.
I mean, I'm not like a person. You got this kind of budget, so it will be
Yeah.
good. I don't care. It's just from what I've seen so far, it doesn't look like the money is being well spent, or it looks like something kind of weird's going on. It bothers me because I would like for this film to be really fun. I'd like for Power Rangers to be relevant again in some sense. You know, I have no issue with that. I mean, I'm perfectly happy with this film being a success, but as of right now, I don't see it breaking even.
Yeah.
At all. I don't see it getting close. But yeah.
I'm gonna say something because I know a lot about Power Rangers, and this kind of it was like, why are you doing this so dumb? So in the original Power Rangers, they all know their kind of athletics and gymnastics and martial arts before they get their suits.
Oh, I know where you're going with this. Yeah.
Yeah. In Jason, he does martial arts. Zach, who isn't in this film, they've got Billy as like that character basically instead. Zach had hip hop kido, as he called it, which was hilarious and dumb. Everyone else had like gymnastics, and then Billy was just the gadget guy, and he got better as fighting over time as a Power Ranger.
Yeah.
In this one, it looks like they get their Ranger stuff, and then they're just, oh, I'm doing martial arts now and superpowers. It was like, oh.
Yeah,
why?
it kind of mutes any kind of, I guess, character development, if you want to say that, because that was one thing I was really worried about, is how they're going to treat the characters. I'd imagine the film wants to get them in the suits as fast as possible and, just start shoving nostalgia in your face. But, yeah, it is, because you don't know who these characters are, even in this trailer. Granted, it's just a trailer. I'm sure the film is going to spend tons of time with these characters and we'll get to know them, but as of right now, I don't know who they are and I don't care.
Exactly. I mean, I've got a simple alternative, okay? You copy the intro to the first episode of Skins, where you've got the main character basically calling all the friends, and that will be the Power Ranger team, as they're doing what they're known for. You'll see Billy messing around with gadgets. You'll see Kimberly doing her gymnastics, someone else doing martial arts, etc. So it's already established, and it's like, oh, I'll meet you there, and we can, spar together or something.
Yeah.
That instantly, 5 minutes opening, you get to know one.
Yeah, it's a much better establishing, concept for the most part. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just a bit kind of slightly put off with it, to be honest. Moving on to the next, really sneak peek as it's titled, and that is for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which is somewhat fitting title, giving the film itself. So I have no idea what's going on in this trailer, and that is the intention.
Yes,
but
indeed.
I'm very interested.
Same. It actually looks like it's being consistent with the first one.
Yeah.
Which I am happy about. They haven't made Groot big and adult again. They're actually going through with him now being small, which I'm very happy with.
Yeah, we got like no story details. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure people have already uploaded, there's 7 Easter eggs you missed in the Guardians of the Galaxy.
And it's had like the red circle with the arrow.
The red circle over nothing in the background. Did you see that?
And a dumb face, like bewildered.
Yeah, with a dumb faced mouth open.
Yeah.
And
Stockman.
And yeah, we only get to see characters as well. Like we get to see that blue chick.
Oh yeah.
Who got wrecked.
Karen Gillan.
Yeah, Karen Gillan's character, who was like she's there, and also we got I forget the other guy's name.
Yondu.
We got Yondu, and who's back again, which is great. We could have him. We don't see the other. We're not going to spoil other aspects of this film so far because they're not being shown in the trailer. We'll be fair and not do that in case anyone wants to just stay cold till the film comes out. Yeah. But yeah, we don't see any of the other things that are going to appear in this film, which is great. I like that.
Keep it hidden.
Keep it hidden, even if, tease it in the full trailer, that's fine by me. But
just don't show it off like Doomsday.
Yeah.
That'd be dumb as hell.
Yeah, they won't. I know they'll have some restraint. It's Marvel.
Yeah,
and
true.
Yeah, I'm honestly still not happy about some of the focuses in this second film. It's still very bothersome to me, and I really don't like Baby Groot. That's something I just don't
Really?
like. No, I don't like him.
What's wrong with Baby
I
Groot?
don't like his exposure, and I don't like the fact that he's simply kept as that just to sell more toys.
Okay, I get your point.
He's the most popular character when it
Is
comes to
he?
sales, yes.
Wow.
It's not Rocket Raccoon, it's him.
See, I thought
Because he's
it was,
cute, that's why.
I thought he was just staying there consistent because at the end of the film, you know, so he's got to grow back.
If it was consistent, he would have grown back. Because he doesn't take that long to.
Okay, I don't know.
Different
too much
universe,
about
it's not the
Groot.
comics, I'm not going to bitch and moan, oh, he's not doing this,
Yeah.
you know, it's going to happen, but yeah, he grows back, like, very fast.
Okay.
But, you know, that's my only issue. I mean, I just hope that by the end of the film, he's normal-sized.
Yeah.
Because he, you know, whatever. But, I mean, other than that, I'm sure those things might be improved, and they might be much better, but as of now, I'm slightly more interested, still on the fence, because I just really can't get over that one thing. It just still bothers me too much. It's too weak, and we'll probably talk about that whether we're reviewing the film or talking about another trailer or whatever.
So I still don't think that's going to be the main focus, but once that happens, we'll know.
It will be a big focus.
I think it will be a big subplot.
Yeah.
But not the main story.
I mean, if you guys are that interested in what we're alluding about, you can definitely go type up and look at the cast of... You can look at the cast of the film, particularly a certain actor who has been cast as a certain relevant character to one of the characters in the Guardians of the Galaxy, if you want to know, but we're not going to say any more than that. I mean, the trailer was really good. I definitely really enjoyed it. I like that last shot with Rocket when he just shoots a hole through some guy and he just does that weird smile and he's like, yeah.
No, that was good.
That was perfect. That was how Rocket is in the comics, which is great. Which I do enjoy, and they also I'll put this in the description as well. They also have a new poster for it as well.
Oh, I love that
which
poster.
Is that slightly grey, black and white poster, which is fantastic.
And you see all of them there. It's like nice.
Which is great. I do like that. You know, kind of almost like showboaty. Like now they can kind of boast, we are the Guardians of the Galaxy kind of you know thing. We're here to save the day, which I think could work if they do have some elements like that in the film.
I hope they do that. That'd be cool.
I mean, it's definitely staying with the intrigue and the comedy as well. You see, Drax and
Star-Lord.
Star-Lord is like, do you need a hug?
I love that.
It's like, no. Oh, no, I said no.
Yeah, that was nice.
I thought it was great, but looking forward to it a lot more. Moving away from films just for a quick second, we've got the official reveal/announcement and trailer for Red Dead Redemption 2. It's finally been announced. Wake up. And after years of waiting, Rockstar finally announced the game exists, finally announced it's happening through images, and finally the trailer, which showed pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
It was just nothing. It was a nothing trailer, guys. It was just confirmation.
It's not even nothing in the case of they give you a little bit and just so they don't spoil anything. It was literally nothing. It was just
nothing.
setting.
It was just the game will look pretty.
And so I got two things. From the poster and that tiny bit at the end of the trailer, they've noticeably kept showing 7 cowboys.
Yes.
Which, obviously, one of the most famous westerns is Magnificent Seven.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure there's going to be some inspiration from that.
Most likely. I mean, not unless they're going to take inspiration from Paint My Wagon, which would be fun.
Oh, that'd be great. Gonna paint my wagon good.
It's funny because I didn't even know that was a real film.
Yeah? Really?
No, I thought it was legit a Simpsons parody. When I saw it on TV, I was like, oh, this is actually a film? Is that Clint Eastwood over there painting a wagon? They don't actually paint a wagon that prolifically in that film, but it was a great concept for its time. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, this is definitely going to help sales of the console happen because it's actually an original sequel game compared to a lot of the other crap that's come out this year.
I will say it has a very lazy name. I mean, you had Red Dead Revolver, then you had Red Dead Redemption, and now Red Dead Redemption 2.
Could be a placeholder name.
Red Dead Revengeance. There we are. Done.
Well, we don't know if this is following the same characters, or the same place, area, time period. I mean,
how could it follow the main character of Redemption?
Well, hence why I said characters.
Oh, okay, characters.
Right. We don't know what's going to happen, honestly, but
just don't call it Red Dead Revelations.
God, no. Rockstar's smarter than that.
Retribution.
They would call a exploitation western DLC that, if anything. You know what I mean? To take the mick out of it. Yeah. But I am looking forward to it. I really did like Red Dead Redemption. Definitely really enjoyed it, especially the DLC as well, which was fantastic. But yeah, just glad we've got another one of the big ones is finally out the way. Rockstar's like, oh, just shut up, it's coming out.
Yeah. And for me, I tried playing Red Dead Redemption like 3 times and I never cared about it.
Why 3 times?
Because I tried it when I was younger and I was like, no, I don't like it. Tried it a little older and I was like, no, I didn't like it.
And then you played it yesterday and you're like, don't like it.
Yeah. Every time, it's just, I get to the point and it's like, nah, I just don't care.
Fair enough.
Its intro is so long that I just don't care beyond that part. So, yeah. And this trailer almost put me to sleep, so...
For like a 1:30 trailer, geez.
Yes! It was like literally sleeping pills.
It wasn't that boring. I mean, it's boring, but it wasn't that boring.
Trust me, it was for me.
Yeah, I was like expecting something, but oh well.
Yeah.
I also find it funny that already, you know, a lot of articles are definitely reporting on it, and like one person was like, "Oh, Red Dead Redemption 2 is finally confirmed, but where are all the female outlaws?" And I was like, "Fuck right off." Right, moving on to our next trailer. You have it.
I do, and this is the trailer for Logan, which is obviously based off Logan or Wolverine, and it's going the whole kind of old man Logan story, set in a kind of post-apocalyptic setting in which Wolverine is one of the last mutants alive. I really like the look of this trailer.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely playing the final Wolverine film card like very well. I mean, it really did catch me off guard with you know the pacing and the tone, and you know, especially comparing it to all the other X-Men films. This isn't really one that's like. I mean, even to the fact where they used the "I Hurt Myself Today" song
by Johnny Cash.
Yes,
which damn. I didn't ever think that would work so well, but it did.
It was some interesting editing and just pacing because you know there are some great shots where you see like Wolverine is like clutching his fist and he's like looking like not very good, and you know, and it kind of works. So it's like, I hurt myself, you know, and it kind of works, and you know that is a great song as well. I mean, thank goodness it hasn't really been destroyed by memery, but it's good. I mean, it's nice to see Patrick Stewart is actually in the film. That was a really nice surprise. I actually do wonder if this is going to be his last film as well.
I think it might be, because I actually know some extra stuff about it that wasn't in the trailer.
Okay.
And we also see Laura Kinney, who is the character the actress, is called Daphne Keane.
Mm-hmm.
She's playing Laura Kinney, which is X-23.
Okay, so it is X-23.
Yeah, which is the 23rd clone of Wolverine. The other one's failed.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. Which I think she looks good for the part. I think it works so far.
Yeah, because I was going to ask whether you thought it was her, and I was like, are they going to continue Wolverine with another actress? Or because
because in the comics, Laura Kinney is Wolverine at the moment.
Yeah, she is like the current Wolverine wearing the yellow and blue, right? Yeah. And which I don't think she won't be wearing that, obviously.
No.
I would much rather have her wear the black.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
But I kind of hope they just put it to rest, because I mean we've had a lot of like Wolverine in general, and I'm forgetting the actor's name.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman has done a fantastic job as Wolverine. He's like, even in the worst of films, he's like been the only reason why you watch those films, and I think the time when it comes to recast like Wolverine is going to be a very sad and very frustrating day.
And troublesome, because people are going to be like, no.
I mean, he just fits the role so well.
He does, surprisingly.
I mean, you know, the only other thing they can do to even improve on that is make him either black or Asian, because that way they can appeal to everyone.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I'll be interested to see if the film does stay true to its pacing and tone. I'll be interested to see if it even stays as a good film. I don't know. It's very interesting. It's a shame that we probably won't be seeing any other elements from the Old Man Logan comic, unfortunately, because it's just X-Men.
Yes.
So, which is a bit of a shame, and it's going to be interesting to see how the main villain plays into this film as well.
Yeah, it's Nathaniel Essex, who's usually known as Mr. Sinister.
Mr. Sinister.
And other characters in this, which I'm actually quite happy about. Donald Pierce, he's usually a cybernetic mutant hunter. Like, he hates mutants, and he leads the Reavers, which are a cyborg mutant hunting group. And It's set in the year 2044. This film, it's like after everything basically.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
and Professor X is suffering from Alzheimer's in this. Yeah,
strange.
and he has to be looked after, which definitely adds that darkness to
That's
it.
some serious weight right there.
Yeah, it's definitely giving it that darker tone.
Because I'm surprised he's still alive.
Yeah, same. I mean, it does make sense in context now.
I mean, everyone's dead except for them two and X-23, who's...
one other, which is Caliban the Morlock, who
that dude.
He confined mutants with his power. Yeah.
And Forget-Me-Not.
Oh yeah, Forget-Me-Not's always existed. He's always in the films, you just never remember him.
Exactly. Cameo.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I'll be interested to see this film. If they stay true to what they presented in the trailer. But then again, you look at that logo and you see 20th Century Fox and it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am thinking that maybe after Deadpool showed that given more creative control, they allowed more creative control for this.
I highly doubt it.
I hope so.
Do you really think Fox is going to go, yeah, we should be more forgiving with our stuff after one film?
Well,
no.
Considering at the moment, the for Daredevil 2... No,
Deadpool 2.
Yeah, sorry. The director is having trouble with Ryan Reynolds because Ryan Reynolds is having a lot of creative control over the film. So they're definitely giving more creative control to the people involved.
Probably because they don't care about Deadpool, I think, simply put, because, they tried to destroy Deadpool back when it came out, and I think...
And he had to leak it.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, if Deadpool made $5 billion, then they would be way more lenient with creative directors. But no, 20th Century Fox is way too stubborn. Yeah. They went, hey, that fluke we wanted to die made us some money. Okay, then.
Yeah.
That's Fox, simply put. The same people who like to take people's videos down because they use the sections of a trailer to make said video. That same bit of footage which is edited and uploaded for those to see to make judgment and opinions based on whether they want to see the film. Don't upload it and don't talk about it.
Bloody hell.
Yes.
20th Century Fox, get your shit together.
Yeah, next to Warner Bros. They really need to get their stuff together. But yeah, so that pretty much wraps up all of our trailer talk for this podcast. Now moving on to just a few topics we have as well, which are worth talking about. The first one is talking about whether YouTube, talking about YouTube again, which is great, whether YouTube is selling out a lot more now, because as it was kind of published, it would seem that YouTube is definitely trying to push its slightly more paid service, which is YouTube Red, trying to get more original content, or trying to have more original content from people who are a little bit more famous, other than YouTubers, because I mean shows like PewDiePie, Scared or whatever that show is called,
Scare PewDiePie.
Scare PewDiePie isn't getting the big bucks somehow. Which is rather interesting. So they have people like Dan Hammond, Doug Liffman, and Dwayne The Rock Johnson, to pretty much create original content and series for the platform, which is rather interesting because I mean, I have nothing wrong with this. If they want to do that, that's fine. We've got creative minds and people, actors, working on stuff that could potentially be pretty good.
And it's weird. Dwayne The Rock Johnson has a series on the WWE Network as well, in which he reacts to wrestling things.
Well, he's the most famous wrestler of current time right now, and he's running for president too, which is interesting.
Is he?
Yeah, he is.
Wow.
He's running for the next. I think he's either running for the next election or the one after that.
Okay.
Which would be, I think it's 2020.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, he's running for it.
Wow.
Which is interesting. I would love to see him be president, which would be good. But off that, I just find this whole situation kind of funny that they're throwing money at these, creators and giving them so much attention when they really should be sorting out the main sites. It has a lot of issues.
I agree.
And I'll be honest. I mean, I know that you may be listening to this podcast on YouTube. You may be subscribed to this channel and others and all that kind of stuff. But you have to remember that YouTube has just become such a nasty place over this 2016, which is it's really just upsetting for the most part. I think the YouTuber Grade A Under A put it best, because he's been under a lot of scrutiny with people just trying to expose him and saying his newest videos are crap and all that. And for whatever reason, because I'm subscribed to him, I've seen so many videos of how Grade A fell from grace and how exposing Grade A, and he pretty much put it best, where it's like, it's not YouTube anymore, it's exposed tube. Yeah. Everyone is so hungry and so fast to expose Johnny 42 because they found out what his face looks like, or they don't know what his face looks like, so they're trying to do this and they're trying to do that for the most part.
And I think even I Hate Everything, he made this whole joke, is like, when he was going through the parody channels, they even found that they have drama between them and that they're exposed to each other.
Which is, I mean, that's a very interesting video to watch if you definitely look at his video where he looks at like all these parodies kind of based on him, and they have like their own
drama and exposure,
drama and subculture, and one of them saying join me or die, and one of them's like throwing shade on the other one. It's just annoying, pretty much.
It really has come to that point of people exposing people is getting the views. Is like, just stop watching that shit.
It's honestly very boring, and I mean, I think I kind of find it funny. I mean, sometimes it does help. Like I do. Like, there was one comment I find quite funny where I watched Machinima ETC, and they did their like gaming like series or video, and they had like Shibi kind of do his reviews, and he kind of came out and he was like talking about Mafia 3, and he said, I think he said something along the lines of like, this game is like is the same as like Leafy's video, redundant and boring.
Oh,
or something like, is the reason why I haven't watched Leafy's newest 4 videos because they're boring and redundant.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I mean, all this like rubbish, all these, there are, there's so many people to cause certain issues, which is, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if YouTube wants to jump ship and they're like, okay, just make us the money, we don't care, we're going to put all our money into Dwayne The Rock Johnson and his original show and hopefully get more money from there. And
they're also giving, I can't remember the 2 main people of Game Grumps a comedy show based on esports.
Aaron and
Dan Abernathy and Aaron Hansen. Yeah.
Give JonTron a show as well.
I think JonTron could definitely do it
because his episodes are shows.
Yeah.
Simply put.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why.
And obviously, if he had the money behind it, then he could produce more content.
Yeah, I mean, his whole Star Wars series was pretty much a mini-series. I don't know, YouTube's probably not looking in the right place. Yeah. But I mean, it's just really annoying that you're, kind of jumping ship and you're worrying about things that don't really need to matter, because your channel's going to blow up before Dwayne even starts filming at this rate. Yeah. I mean, it's honestly very boring, and I'm getting very sick of it, both politics and YouTube drama, the bad kind of YouTube drama. That's why I appreciate people like Grade A Under A, who is trying as best as possible to stay away from as much drama as possible. He doesn't like doing that. He'd much rather make funny videos, but he was, like I kind of mentioned, forced to pretty much make this video addressing all these desperate claims that, like, he's a pedophile because he used to be a teacher, now he's not, and other stupid things. Yeah, because he used to be a teacher and now he's not. He is a pedophile because
he couldn't just leave because he didn't like working there.
Like he said eventually you get bored or something of like teaching snot-nosed kids math.
Yeah.
It's like
people
stupid.
Make massive leaps in judgment.
Oh yeah, they do it all the time. I mean, and you got like the ringleaders like Keemstar, and
is he still around?
He's still around and he's still relevant because he stopped being a racist. That's why people are giving him attention.
Alright.
People like Scarce Colossal was crazy with just spreading just so much cancer and stuff like that around.
Did he go back behind his tree?
Scarce. No, he does face cam now.
Really?
Yeah, he actually has changed it up. I think Scarce, which is, if anyone doesn't know that guy, he is the guy who appears from behind the tree and say, "Hey, what up, guys?"
He should use that as an intro.
He should, because then it just goes to show that he's at least self-aware.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just kind of stupid. I mean, even there was one video with like Pyrocynical where he was like addressing that really slutty and bitchy like live streamer who just exposes herself for like views, and she did a response to that, and Pyrocynical had to do a video to that, and I was just like, I am not watching a 27-minute video on this cow. Simply put.
Can they just produce creative content, please?
I mean, Pyrocynical does.
Yeah.
But it's annoying. I mean, even to the point I think a lot of their fans, a lot of, let's say, the reaction video audience have definitely been like, stop talking about this person, stop giving them attention. They're becoming a lot more self-aware, especially the you know, I'm pretty sure some people might have heard the song with the kid saying I like Pokemon Go, and you know, obviously he got, you know, a lot of flack sent to him, and then that kid just pretty much just turned into a monster thanks to the guy who's behind the person who makes his music, and people are going to stop making videos on this kid. He's self-aware, he's just being an asshole. You know, it was just really annoying for the most part. But yeah, at this rate, it's not going to end well for YouTube, which is a shame, since there is legit very creative people on the platform. But you know, they just jump ship, have their own website. Ain't no one going to Drama Alert's website.
I can't wait until there's a Captain Christian website. That's going to be cool. Captain
Christian. Yeah, you can work on that. Eventually, that's all you need to worry about.
Exactly.
Once I hate everything and Captain Christian has this like YouTube channel, so that's it. I'm good.
Yeah, there are a few others. I mean, put Strip Panel Naked up there. I'll be happy. Strip
Panel, Every Frame Per Second, Jontron, Everyone on Normal Boots, Super Best Friends, Zaibatsu. They already have a website.
Yeah.
All the smart guys just put their website up.
The video essays people are great.
Yeah, and then just put their website up, and then they'll be good. But yeah, it's a really interesting situation with YouTube and the whole selling out and its current situation. I mean, they really need to do something about it. It's a shame when YouTubers have to blackmail YouTube in order to get their opinions heard.
Yeah.
I mean, do YouTubers now blackmail YouTube Red in order to get some of that money that they're putting into Red?
Probably. Don't know.
I don't know. I just thought it was worth mentioning this whole situation with YouTube because it is just a bit hilarious.
Yeah, it needs to sort itself out.
Soon, hopefully, but yeah. And moving on to our final news topic, probably one of the biggest ones.
One that actually makes every gamer smile, as long as they're not a child. So, Nintendo finally unveiled the NX, which its official name is the Nintendo Switch. Or Switch for short, if you want to call it.
Sure.
And it is, as everyone had guessed or had leaked, that it's a console handheld hybrid. And I think it's really smart how it works.
Yeah, excuse me. I really do like this. Its whole idea, because it's essentially what I think a lot of gamers have always wanted, to be able to play games wherever. Obviously, that trailer, which you can see in the description, which I would recommend it because we're not going to go through every single section of it, does bring up more questions than it does answer. But it's basically a dock tablet, and you basically take the two sides of your main controller off of it to put it onto that, take it anywhere, play it, take those bits off, play it like that, back and forth, switching up how you play in a sense, which is going to be a selling point. It is very interesting, and I do like its its idea behind it. I mean, Nintendo got a lot right with this by giving it its own name. It's got its own name. It's a new thing. It's a new system. Nintendo Switch. Got its own logo. I mean, they also showed off the fact that it's going to be, or showed off and said that it's going to be on Unreal 4.
Yes.
I mean, Unreal 4 is kind of shit anyway, but
it can run Unreal 4 and it can run its competitor Unity, so it can run both of them.
Oh no, not Unity. But okay.
Well, those are the two.
Unity in the hands of higher up studios is shit.
Oh no, I know. But you can get some nice creative indie stuff.
Oh yeah. Which is good. They specified that obviously by showing Skyrim playing on the tablet, which is quite funny.
Yeah, I mean, think of the hardware that must be in that if you can play that on a portable.
Yeah, I mean, and also stating that third parties are definitely going to be developing for this thing as well. I mean, they kind of posted a image of all the people who are going to be working on it. It's pretty much everyone. Yeah,
basically everyone wants a piece of this pie.
I mean, I think there are a few people missing just from memory. I think it's Ninja Theory's not there.
Oh yeah.
That's the only people I can think of that's not there, which is kind of interesting. But we have a lot of the big hitters like Activision, EA, Sega's there, of course, Capcom, Konami, and other people, Ubisoft as well, which is interesting. So they definitely got a lot of back, and I mean, this is where kind of the real positivity of it comes from, because it's the fact that they actually have these people on board, and the fact that people are actually all these studios are actually like, hey, we can finally put your games on our consoles, we can make
Yeah.
more money, and we can take a chance on this system, and make a new game which we haven't been able to do for so long.
Yeah, exactly.
We can actually maybe start a new franchise. Original one-off idea, something that isn't just another sequel because we're too scared.
But so yeah, there are a few things I want to say which I found out. So one, they said that there's going to be a Pokemon game by Game Freak within the first 6 months of the Switch launch.
Which means it will be very close to its launch.
Yeah, but by Game Freak, there has never been a console Pokemon game by Game Freak, as far as I can remember.
No, it would have been PAL who would have worked on any other game.
Yeah. HAL Laboratories.
HAL, excuse me. Yeah. That's the region for our, distributing.
Yeah. Which I think that's really interesting. A Game Freak console game, basically, that's hybrid portable. Genius. 2, I didn't see BioWare on that list, which obviously no Andromeda then on the Switch.
Well, like I unfortunately keep saying, EA is going to envelop BioWare, so it's going to be on there. Simply put, they're going to destroy it like they have with those 7 ones already.
Yeah. BioWare used to mean something.
Now it does. Now it's just EA.
Yeah, and last thing, from what I found, the battery life is unconfirmed, but it's been stated about 3 hours long, which I can understand it being short because it is playing software that's usually reserved just for consoles.
Yeah.
So if you're taking it out and you're thinking, I'm going to play Skyrim for 9 hours while I'm out, it's like, no.
On a plane.
Yeah. It's like, don't be stupid.
I mean, they just imply that you could play it anywhere, basically, and that's, I think, the main selling point, I think.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll probably be, like, Switch adapters where it's like, oh, I've got 5 battery life to switch it in there, some stuff like that. I mean, it does come, it's pretty much a charging dock, so
exactly.
I'm sure there'll be some kind of add-ons. I am kind of worried about the controller. In a sense, I'm worried about how much that's going to cost. And
you don't think it will come with the console?
No, I'm talking about separately.
Oh, okay.
As in, you want to buy another controller, or you lost it, or it broke, or something like that.
I get you.
I am worried about that. I mean, I'm sure some people might struggle with, being able to play it with like 2 controllers in one hand, which is, I'm sure that's something people can get used to. I mean, it's going to improve hand-eye coordination in that sense, which might be even more interesting and submersive than VR in some sense.
Yeah, it'll weigh less.
It'll weigh less. I mean, the only thing now that Nintendo needs to do is drop them strong games. They need to go, here's Pokemon, here's Metroid, which has been rumored.
Oh, good.
Here's Zelda, all coming out same day, March, which is good. It's good that it's in less than 6 months, which is fantastic. They can't go this time next. No.
Yeah.
They need to get this out now.
It needs a strong launch.
Very strong launch. I mean, get your Mario, get your Metroid, get all the favorites, and then, month time you can have EA made a game, and Thingy made a game, and Capcom, here's Capcom's original game, and oh look, Resident Evil 7's on there as well, and oh look, it's launching with this, and all that stuff.
I mean, that's the thing, during the trailer you can actually see what appears to be a new Mario game.
Yeah.
So,
which is interesting. A lot of people were wondering whether it's like Galaxy 2 or like, because to me it looked more like Super Mario 3D World for the 3DS.
I'm calling it Super Mario Switch.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
It might be called that. I mean, it definitely looks very nice and slightly more different compared to some other Mario games. Sorry for the noise. And that pretty much wraps up our main topics. We now have our discussion, which is linked into our previous discussion we had on the previous podcast, which is that of recommending the previous one was recommending a horror film for October. This time we're recommending something other than a horror film.
Yes.
So Ace, start with you. What you want to recommend for people? I know time is short.
Yeah.
But whatever.
So I have an anime series here, which I don't know if I've talked about on the podcast before, but I've definitely talked to you about it.
Yeah.
Which is Higurashi no Nakokoroni, always known as When They Cry.
Okay, good, because some people can't spell that.
Yeah. But When They Cry, or Higurashi When They Cry. It's under a few different names. I really like the series. It's dark. It's basically, kid moves into this small village, and it's so small that every kid in there shares the same classroom, even if they're at different ages. That's how small the kind of village is. Yeah. And he makes a bunch of friends, and weird, very disturbing shit starts happening around town. and it's all going to this legend of a demon within the village that's cursing people, and that people disappear each time there's a festival. It's really good. The animation feels cheap at some points. It's got that very early 2000s style animation, but the story is amazing. I loved it.
Okay.
I will say, however, that there are so many different spin-offs that you have to make sure you get the right one, because there are a ridiculous amount. There was even a live-action version that came out this year, and that's getting a sequel. Yeah.
So it's definitely somewhat popular.
It is surprisingly popular. It's based off of a light novel game.
But, yeah, that makes sense.
I really enjoyed it. Some parts are so disturbing, even I winced. Which is rare for an animation to make me feel that.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, it's very hard to come by anime horror because it's very rare, especially when it's done good, and sometimes it's just not. Yeah. It's usually just animes with like horror-ish elements in it. But if you're talking about straight horror, that's very interesting. Unless you're going to read Uzumaki or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's very interesting that you recommended a anime, because I recommended a Western cartoon, which is Over the Garden Wall.
Yes, fantastic series.
If you have not seen it, somehow, I would definitely recommend it. It's a very short mini-series. It won't take you too long to watch. It was fantastic. It aired about 2 years ago on Cartoon Network from all of this time 2 years ago in full. It's essentially a story about two brothers, essentially somewhat lost in a very weird and odd forest for the entirety of the series, is trying to find their way back home. And it definitely has... It's not necessarily horror, though there are some very horrific and very scary scenes in it. Even just the first episode has, like, something very horrible happen in it. But it just encaptures that October Halloween kind of feeling, and it's just really well done. I'm still waiting for that Western DVD release. Well, sorry, that European DVD release, which I double checked. That's not happening. And
really?
Yep, not as far as I can tell, which is a massive shame.
Yeah.
Because it probably will never be on DVD in this country, because Cartoon Network is stupid. And but I would highly recommend it. It's definitely got a lot of very good and interesting talent in it. Just a few examples: Elijah Wood is in it.
Oh yeah.
And I'm trying to think of a few other people that people might know in it. But there's definitely also some surprises, and it definitely takes some twists and turns. And it's definitely one that you'll understand a lot more once you watch the second time. And it's just very good. And I wanted to recommend that because I think it's perfect for October.
I also recommend that because I did watch it all.
Did you finish it?
Yeah, I actually forgot to tell you, but I really loved it as well. And after watching the series, have a nice plate of potatoes and molasses.
Pretty much, yeah. It's going to be enjoyable, and get a pet frog.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much, Pepe.
Oh no.
But so those are our recommendations for October, whenever you want to watch them or whatever, next year, whatever. Who knows? Now, finally moving on to our final section, that is going to be the video of the episode, which is going to be an incredibly short video, but I think an incredibly relevant video, and that is going to be Star vs. the Forces of Evil Halloween / Haunted Mansion. It's essentially a stop-motion bit of animation based around Star vs. the Forces of Evil, the current Disney Cartoon Network show, and it's just a nice bit of animation that is just like fantastically done, and for 30 seconds it's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's a funny fact, I did kind of do a little bit of double checking. The reason why it is like Disney Haunted Mansion themed is because I think it's that ride's 20th or 30th anniversary.
Ah, okay.
So so that's why it's there. But definitely go and watch it. It's just a nice little short fantastic video. Yeah, that pretty much wraps up the podcast. Before we pretty much finish, I would just like to say that this October, the London Comic Con, which is going to be happening very soon as of this podcast going up, I will not be attending. I just simply do not have the time nor the money. I spent most of these 2 weeks dealing with money, and I just can't do that. I don't know, sacrifice, I guess. So I'll be there, which is a bit of a shame, but I'll probably go for the next year one, which is in April, I believe. So in case anyone wondered or cared, I'll just throw that out there. And also, real quick, we should definitely have some very interesting things going up as of October 2016. So if it's the first time you're listening to it in the future or whatever, then definitely look forward to those things if they happen. Anything you want to add, Ace?
Same with the October expo. I won't be attending. I might go to the different expo that's in February, which I need to send you a link about.
Okay.
And then I also might go to the one in like June-ish time.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Same reasons, basically. Not enough time, not enough money.
Yeah, I mean, the same thing with me. It's a shame. I really wanted to go.
Same.
But, well, things happen. You gotta, make sacrifices on Halloween.
Yeah.
And, So, I want to apologize for some of the sounds if they came through. A particular person in the house has no kind of field of hearing or spatial awareness. So in case you heard very strange and random noises, you can blame them. And I'll end the podcast like I always do by saying I am the Angry Raccoon.
I am Ace.
And we'll see you on the next podcast. Hopefully my voice will not sound like I'm about to die. And catch you on the, non-spooky month, the lame November, if you want to call it that. Alright, laters, guys.
Off Dewey San.
That's too loud. That's way too loud. You just blew the speakers, man.
Did I?
Probably did. Great, now I'm going to be doing some editing. Alright, laters, guys.
Bye.